What's up, YouTube? It's Carolina Calvin. And I told you after that Carolina Panthers recap, I was gonna make this video. And in this video, I'm just gonna talk about how much they fucking sucked. How much they sucked. I want to say since week two. Week two, we beat a pretty good Lions team, but after that, it's been beat down. They beat the Bears, but the Bears have the Bears are a whole nother topic all in itself. The Bears have been getting beat down just as worse. So I won't even count that as a major victory. Yeah, we won that game, but they even stunk majority of that game. As you well know, the Carolina Panthers, their previous game was Monday night against the Philadelphia Eagles, another primetime game which they usually suck in. And yes, did they suck? If you want to go watch that video, I have it uploading right now. It should be finished by the time I'm finished with this video. But I'm gonna but before I go off on any of the anyone in particular, I'm gonna talk about some of the big weaknesses with this team. Um, the tackles. The tackles have been terrible. And I know Bell didn't play in this game, but Bell and Chandler have given up the third most pressures at 55. And this is out of the entire NFL. And only guys that are over them are Dunlap and Fluker. No, that's for the Chargers. And and also number one is the Vikings, Khalil and Load But they're third. They were not this bad last year. They have struggled. Nate Chandler is moving from guard to tackle, and it has not been a smooth transition. Let's look at the defense in comparison to last year. In terms of yards per game, last year they gave up 301 yards. This year, they give up 378 yards, which is 25th. So they went from second to 25th in yards allowed per game. What? Giving up 77 more yards. Points per game. They went from giving up 15 last year, which is second, to giving up 26, which is also 25th. 11 more points. Now, that's a big deal in football. Yards per play. I apologize. Hold on. Yards per play. Last year 4.9, which is 7th, top 10. That's really good. This year 5.9, which makes them 24th. Yet again, huge fault. The defense has fallen off a cliff. And to me, this is the biggest one. This is the biggest one. Third down percentage. Last year, they only gave up. It was 36%, which was 12th. Top 15. It was the top half of the league. And that's good. You're the top half of the league. This year, 48%. 31st. Next to last. Let's see. Cam Newton has been one of the worst deep throwers in football. Only guys that have been worse are Eli Manning and Geno Smith. And a big reason, don't have any deep threats. They got rid of Ted Ginn, deep threat. It was a speed guy. Hell, even Steve Smith, who we had last year, at his advanced age, was still more of a deep threat than the majority of these guys on this majority of this wide receiving core. There was something else I wanted to point out. Yeah. Antoine Cason, who was Captain Munderland's replacement, has allowed 81% of the passes thrown his way have allowed completions of 81% of the passes thrown his way. Let me see. Hold on. Let me make sure that's correct. Okay, he's allowed. Yeah, I said it right. He allowed 81% on the passes thrown his way. That is the third highest in the NFL. This dude's one of the worst corners in football. He got benched last week. Doesn't matter. The damage has already been done. He should have been got benched. They tried Charles Godfrey. Bum. You got to put in the fourth. You got to put in a fourth round pick, who hasn't, who we just drafted off season, and you expect him to come in and play. He replaced Thomas Deku. Who gives a fuck? Thomas Deku was a bum. Roman Harper was a bum. Starlos lately got hurt in the third quarter of this game. Thanks. He hasn't been playing that well anyway. There are some other things I wanted to bring up. Wanted to bring up sacks. Now there is a lone bright spot, and that's Luke Kuechly. He's played well majority of the game. Majority of the season. The rest of the guys have been terrible, and it goes even further than the players. The players, the ones that get put out there, have to play. No matter how much talent they have, which is a huge lack of talent. Let me look at something right quick. And I think the main problem that a lot of people don't bring up, obviously Ron Rivera, he's actually been kind of swept under the rug with people he's avoid criticism because he got a bunch last year. But this year, he was coach of the year, and Panthers just came off making it to the playoffs. Really good, second best record in the NFC last year. Now to this year, and the play calling has been pathetic. We had Don Shula. Play calling was pathetic. But one guy, I think, who has orchestrated this fucking disaster, Dave Gettleman, the GM, who is the guy who brings players in, and he's also the guy who lets players go. Steve Smith gone. Brandon LaFell gone. Jordan Gross retires. Captain Munderland gone. Mike Mitchell gone. Who else did I say? Who else did we lose? And that's also coupled with the fact that we've had some injuries. So, we don't have a bunch of depth. And, we got the thing going on with Greg Hardy. Not a bunch of depth. Not the same team. Ted Ginn Jr. is the guy I was thinking of. He was good in returns because the special teams stunk. And the guys they put back there have not done anything. They have not made any impact special teams. They've only made it worse. Special teams coverage, we're covering punts and kickoffs, has been terrible. What else to me, honestly, the only bright spot about this team has been the linebackers. Everything else on every other level has sucked. If you watch the recap, I talked about the defensive line. Without Greg Hardy, who led the team in sacks with 15, Charles Johnson was a guy, a few years ago was a monster. He has done nothing. The defensive tackles who played really well, K'Wan Short, Star Lotulelei, have done nothing this season. Luke Kuechly, Thomas Davis, they've had some pretty good games. Secondary, I've already talked about them. Ben Wickery, trash. Roman Harper, I don't like repeat myself with these guys, but Rome Harper, majority of these guys would not be. Majority of the guys that starting on this team would not be on the roster. Nate Chandler would not be on the roster. Byron Bell would not be on the roster. Roman Harper, he should be in a retirement home. Thomas, a lot of these players are just leftovers from actually from teams in our division that didn't want them. Thomas Deku played for Atlanta last year. Roman Harper played for the Saints. There's a reason they let these guys go. They suck. And to me, they've done. I talked about on Twitter with another guy. They've done Cam Newton such a disservice with what they've put around him on this team. The offensive line gets worse. He loses every weapon he had at receiving outside of Greg Olsen. The defense has given up almost exactly 77 more yards from last year. The defense has been bad in every aspect. It's been bad in every aspect, seeing that we had a top 5 defense last season, and now they're at the bottom of the league. And for Dave Gettleman and the owner, they thought they were being smart by trying to save money. We're gonna sign these cheap players. These guys aren't as good as the guys we had in there before. We're gonna sign these guys, hoping that they can play okay. Hoping they can play okay. We're not gonna sign guys like Steve Smith. We're not gonna sign Ted Ginn, Captain Munderland, Mike Mitchell. We're not gonna resign. We're not gonna try to bring Jordan Gross back. We're not gonna try to bring these guys back. We're gonna try to save money, and it backfired in every way possible, because those guys are the guys that make the decisions in terms of personnel, and it's an obvious lack of talent when you watch this team play. It's an obvious lack of talent, and you got guys who probably would either be on the practice squad or out of the league starting on an NFL football team. What I saw out there, in that Monday night game was not a football team. It wasn't an NFL caliber football team. They had players who shouldn't have even made it out of college to play in the NFL, starting. So I honestly think Dave Gettleman has to be gone. Need a complete roster overhaul. Secondary, get rid of all those guys in the secondary. I've never seen this happen. I've only seen this happen to older teams who have a lot of players either get in, or a team gets a lot of injuries, or if it's an older team, like some guys retire. I've never seen a team with young players. They had young players last year, semi-young. They didn't have a old team outside of Steve Smith. I've never seen a team go from second best record, one of the best defenses in football, to being one of the worst teams in the NFC, and the defense completely just falling off a cliff. I've never seen that happen. And if you could tell me any other time that's happened where a team, outside of injuries and either guys retiring, I've never seen it. Especially, why would you get rid of players when you're playing, when you had the second best record in football? I don't understand. But I'm done. This fucking team, when you watch them, you see the face I'm making. It's of disgust when you watch this team play. But I'm done. Carolina Panthers suck. I'm still gonna watch the games, but I'm honestly I'm picking against them now. I was joking before, and it was all just rage. But now it's just like, fuck it. Try to get that top 5 pick, whatever. Bring some fucking talent in free agency. They're cheap. The owner It's cheap. He doesn't give a damn about football. It's obvious. He doesn't give a fuck about football. And what he's doing is putting a shitty product out there, which you're trying to make. You're trying to make the team better, not worse. Because you make the team better, fans will come to the games. It's as simple as that. Because this fan base already isn't super loyal. It's not a big fan base. It's not. Oakland has diehard fans. That's why they. The fans still come to the games. They have diehard fans mainly because of the history. Carolina doesn't have a big history, so you have to make. You have to make fans come out there. You have to put a good product out there every single fucking week. And last year they were doing that. And the stadiums, people were coming to the games. This year, as I said, the fans aren't as loyal because you got fans of other teams live in Carolina. Don't want to talk about them. People that like this team just, I bet you ask, like, for me, if somebody asks me, I'm going to say I'm a Carolina Panthers fan, and I'm going to say, yeah, they suck. But if you ask somebody else is a Carolina Panthers fan, they will hesitate to tell you. Some of them will hesitate to tell you. I know that's bad, but it's just how bad this team has looked. They've gotten just about every single one of their losses. They have gotten embarrassed. And I honestly think fans, when fans get their tickets in coming to the games, they need to hand them a brown bag. Put a brown bag on the face, because you don't even want to show your face to those games. You don't want the camera to pan in on you. But comment down below if you what you think about the Panthers. Yeah, I know they suck, whatever. Of course, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. Panthers fucking suck. Shit need to get changed.